Hey, Ridge community. One of the questions I get asked a lot because of all that's going on is, how are we doing as a church? I love that question, so I thought it'd be a good idea to take some time to not only answer that question, but also talk about some things we're dreaming about because of all that's going on. One of the ways we measure how we're doing as a church is view things through what we call the Great Commission engine, which is the operating system that drives not only our church, but also the engine that drives our individual faith journeys. Here's a picture of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each part and then give you some numbers. And please know, numbers represent people to us. And people are what matters. It's why we measure numbers. Let's look at the weekly service part. In-person attendance right now is trending at about 35% of pre-COVID numbers, which is actually about where the national average is. And the good news is that continues to climb. Online numbers are close to where we were before we launched in-person gatherings, which means we're continuing to see new people connect with us through our online campus. But we don't just want people to attend. We want everyone to engage. Engagement is a sign of growth. One of the most important engagement steps is to have faith-building friends in our lives. The main way we do that here is through Ridge groups. Currently, we have 55% of our average adult attendance in groups, which is good. But our dream is to have every single person in a group. It's why this fall we launched groups for students, and we have always done groups in our Ridge Kids. The part of the engine that we called surrendered living is what I like to think of as the action side of growing our faith. The question we ask here is, what steps are you taking to give away more of your God-given time, talents, and treasures for God's purposes? The talent piece. This is using the gifts and abilities God has given you to serve others. The number of people serving on our teams for in-person service is down, which is not surprising because it reflects the in-person attendance trends. If you're not serving on a team and you're attending in-person services, it's a great time to step in. So if you want to know more about how to do that, there's actually a link below. However, the number of people, and this is great news, serving in our community is up, and it's great news because the needs in our community are up. Now there's the treasure side of things. This has to do with the finances God has entrusted us to manage on His behalf. Are you honoring Him with your finances? As a church, we are currently down financially about 13%. Now, I really believe with all that's going on that God wants to do some things that are new and exciting and impactful. Some of the dream questions we're asking and praying about as a church, one of them is, what does it mean to be a church that is focused on the one over the 99, both in person and online, because our geographic reach just continues to expand? Another question is, how can we as a church do a better job of equipping and empowering people so we can help our one find Jesus? And Live Big 2020 is coming up. With Live Big, how can we do Live Big this year so that we can give away more money and serve more people, because there's more need right now? You know, there's a lot that we don't know yet, but a lot more I believe God wants to do in the weeks and months ahead so we can reach our one. You know, these are just a few things to update you on what's happening at the Ridge. And I want to thank all of you who have been honoring God with your giving. If there ever was a test of whether we believe God will provide for us, it's been 2020. And if you haven't transitioned your giving to online or automated it yet, there are a few directions below for you to do just that. And if you need envelopes, same thing, see below. Well, I hope and pray that you will never settle for anything less than living a fully surrendered life to Jesus. I call it God's best for us. And living God's best is always best.